So you guys gotta go take Alan over to the Tesla deal. Yeah, the black Tesla deal. Do you have the credit card with you or not? You got it with you? Yeah, okay. It's got a MasterCard. Oh, it is? Yeah, it's over $2,000.
I'm talking to that guy.
Well, that's fine. When you get to Tesla, when you give me a call, it's right in that area. It's in the same auto center garage. Hey, Chef. Hey, Lewis just called me. You know that the title on that camera is big for the top. Yeah, so there's no
Okay, that was a little interesting. The guy rolled down his window. They were staring at me. I gave him a little piece. And then he said something like, I'm talking to that guy, I don't want to talk to you, fuck you, rolled up their windows. Okay, so be it. At least they're on video. Okay, so it is July 30th, I think, on Tuesday. Gonna be August, gonna make it to August 2019 with the 42-year I guess Pearl and personal hunt for their 5-year-old child they hate so much. I can't really define what exactly it is, but it all starts at 5, and so here we are, a worldwide campaign with the government, police government, to exterminate someone for 42 years since 5 years old, Kevin Perlman, with the psychology community throwing every label, using labels as weapons to hunt me and silence me for the things I know and found out they did with the police and government, and now billions invested, and Brittany is having her bug issues, I guess, like not Mike Huntley VW bug, but real bug issues. So to make a sensitivity joke, Kevin's too sensitive, but
I just spaz.
Brittany's okay. Not saying there's anything wrong with you. Totally I'm just using that as a joke or an analogy based on the things that are said about me. Well, Kevin's too sensitive, so he needs to be removed from society. Yet, and no offense to you, I'm not jumping, freaking out if a bug lands on me, but nobody's saying that Brittany needs to be removed from society. Is my point, right? These are perfectly normal human
reactions.
A little out there on the bug thing, but still within the. There's nothing wrong with you. We're not going to throw some kind of paranoia label on you, bug paranoia label on you, or something weird like that.
Right.
Okay, so today I'm wearing my. I haven't worn it in a while. I can't see. I think I'm in frame here. There's not much room.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. What does it say?
I saw an alien.
Oh, I saw an alien when I was a child, and it's a phenomenon because Tom Farley said so. Okay, so obviously I made this shirt. You can't get it anywhere else. The Lord's Gym shirt obviously is made by a big company that's selling them all over the world, but I made this shirt, and the point is that first of all, I'm told nobody knows me. I'm imagining the entire situation, so this shirt's harmless to begin with because nobody's going to know who Tom Farley is unless Tom Farley is involved in something highly illegal and demented with billions of government dollars, and he is. and the entire shirt is basically a joking rebuttal to Tom Farley's allegations and accusations to the entire planet, with thousands of other ones, that I supposedly saw an alien in his bathroom when we were like when I was like 7 years old or something like that, when we were 7 years old, and spewing into the world that I'm a violent paranoid schizo who sees things that aren't there, and I'm crazy, and I think I saw an alien and things like this. Of course, like every other situation in my life, I didn't say anything about anything. Every word that came out of Tom Farley's mouth came out of his own mouth, and then he went with it like, I think I've proven my theories or something, right? So anyways, that's the joking shirt, and I don't want to get too sidetracked on that because, like usual, we got 100 million
things to go over.
Things to go over with never end, and a few. Just
the one you made?
No, I didn't make it.
Oh, I thought you made the design. No.
No,
Oh.
I scanned the image for some of my artwork. But, whatever. This is the lighter I used in my Burning the DSM-3 book, and it's just a little heart with a sword through it, and you know, I sort of was joking around after doing some art series with hearts and playing off people's jokes around me, which I'm imagining, and this and that, and so whatever, you know, true love, there it is, the sword through the heart. Okay, so, and a dagger through the heart. Okay, so what's that Ozzy and Lita Ford song, I think, with whatever.
I don't know.
Or is that, let's see, your poison running through my, that's Alice Cooper, your poison running through my veins, whatever. Anyways, okay, so I guess first let's get some of the, we'll get the court thing out. I gave this paperwork to Brittany last week, and what did I just do with, I gave this paperwork to, and I have my breakfast cigar. Oh, by the way, we're at Old Oak Cigar in Thousand Oaks, and usually groups walk down the streets here and they take turns. Example, there's a white Escape over there, and there's a black one over there, and then where I parked over here, there's two Jeeps together, and they always do their weird freaky combinations with cars on the streets here and people coming in with closing tactics and whistling at me and all these things that they do over and over. So, and when I'm usually sitting here trying to relax, neighbors all come out with the clothing colors, taking turns walking by with the color patterns, just as Brittany has witnessed at every location in the world, or that we've been to, in from Camarillo to Sherman Oaks. Every single place we've been, Brittany has witnessed. Okay, so I'll have a breakfast cigar while we talk, and
I love that.
the first, oh, and my coffee, weird combinations, whatever.
Classic combo.
Okay, so the first document, and we'll go through this fairly fast, is just associated with the appeals. I can't tell you what this means. This is off the docket, and it just states that 7:10, there was a 7-11 hearing for the first oral argument by my side, Seymour Amster and me, or Seymour Amster representing me. 7:10 order, I am recusing myself from participating in the above caption case, Judge Sanjay Kumar. Oh, by the way, I didn't make the thing, Harold and Kumar movie. Okay, there's a lot of things in that movie trying to dramatize and take things out of my life.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen that movie.
No, it's hysterical.
It is. It's really funny.
Okay, so Judge Sanjay Kumar is recusing himself. That's all I can say. I can't say anything about why or whatever. But you could see how nobody would want to, especially being a judge, you wouldn't want to touch this thing with by a billion miles, because in the end, they're going to be marked as someone like a Jew hater or whatever, right? A bigoted racist in the end. Once you get past all the lies, the smears, the false arrests, the worldwide, we're going to kill you for what you know, it's all going to come down to the bare roots, when it starts, 5 years old, why is it happening? I think he's different. I think he has nervous problems. I don't know, right? Something that doesn't make any sense and is on the par with the inferior race needs to die or things like that, right?
Something that's not funny.
Yeah. Okay, so anyone in their right mind is going to be like, I don't want any part of this.
Right.
Like, I'm a judge and this isn't my... Although more so criminal, because a criminal judge is going to be like, I don't want to be known as the executioner for his kind, versus an appeals judge, which normally would be like, this is unacceptable, right? So whatever, I can't tell you. So there. Now we have the Dincy Facebook. Now Dincy's Facebook went from fairly aggressive over the last several years. Possible suspect, everyone go after him. Possible suspect, everyone go after him. Party thrower, everyone hunt them down. Alert the neighbors. No party throwers, right? Just destroying people's lives and names with his Facebook account, and using it as a weapon to go after those he doesn't like or the imperfect, right? So that he could get to the top, just like Adolf Hitler or whatever. Well, his website's been fairly quiet over the last 4 months, but there's always some kind of thing, and they seem kind of subliminally directed at me. Does that make sense? Like we talked about the park. One of his last things was they were cracking down on people at the park with leashes. No leashes. The cops run around. You don't have a leash. You don't have a leash. I mean, that's absurd. And then that Nico girl wanting me to go take a walk at Serenia Park, where he posted that thing a couple days later or whatever.
Right.
I don't have proof of anything, but I can usually see the patterns.
You get a sense of it.
Yeah, and so now we have a thing. This is from July 16th off his Facebook. We are making our way back into Woodland Hills on Tuesday. I don't know what that means, making our way. July 16th, 8:30 to 10 a.m. for coffee. Coffee with a cop. Stop by so we can discuss those community concerns, or just stop by to check in with your senior lead officer at Starbucks. Now remember that Dincy has a problem with me going to coffee shops, and especially Starbucks, because Starbucks has invested the largest amount of resources to have me hunted and killed and silence me for what I know and the things they're involved in. And it's obviously every coffee shop and Coffee Bean and Pete's, but Starbucks is a larger player in the resources they've invested, paying off security guards, paying off lawyers, paying off probably Sean Dincy. Sean Dincy's probably paid off by the Starbucks Corporation to hunt me and have me killed.
The claims he made about you and Starbucks are ridiculous.
Correct. The claims, the Dincy claims, I've supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers when they found out I had proof of what they were doing, even though I've always had proof.
Right. You would never, like...
Yeah. And you've seen it. I don't even say one word to anyone except for the interactions with the employees.
Yeah, no, you're perfect.
Yeah, so Dincy's obviously being paid off. And my father somehow linked all this. Okay, so anyways, the point is, so now we have, hey, everyone meet me at Starbucks. Does it seem a little strange, Officer Dincy? Everyone meet me at Starbucks. Let's...
Right. It's very...
Okay, so what it appears to me as is like a spit in your face. I followed you around for the last 18 years, / 42 years with everyone else. I don't want you going to any coffee shop in the world. But hey, everyone meet me at coffee shops.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to trigger you, I'm trying to goad you, I'm trying to get a reaction. I'm trying to make it look like you're coming after me, just like people possibly like, Nico, Kevin, let's take a walk at Serenia Park, where Dincy just posted.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so there's one more post, a little more recent. 14 hours ago, it says on this. So yesterday, the day before. LAPD Topanga Vision may not have a football program, but we have awesome wrestling program created and mentored by Officer Juan Estrada, We have the means of changing social norms. Okay, wait. We have the means of changing social norms. That's kind of disturbing right there. And it starts by giving children an outlet to thrive. Yeah, like me, right?
Right.
Put a bullet in their head if you don't like them building cars in high school. Okay, so and then then turn it around on them. Okay, so what?
It's terrible that they did that. You know?
Yeah, all the things. My father putting a bullet in his 300E Mercedes, saying I tried to scare or kill him. Brian Weaver reloading Shane Week's paint gun to accidentally get me to shoot Shane, which I almost hit him near the eye, right? And obviously him running around saying Kevin's full of anger and rage, and he for no reason tried to take out Shane's eye, because these are in the thousands. It's not a one-time delusion of theirs. And remember, there's on every one of these situations, nothing is ever discussed, nothing is asked, there's no questions, you're not even told why there's worldwide groups to kill you. It just comes from nowhere, like living in a mob.
You know what you did, remember?
Yeah, my mother, my past caught up with me. My father, you know what you did. And then my father, you're not allowed to defend yourself with Mike Huntley. And then my father, well, when people do something, they're not told what they did because they can lie.
That doesn't make sense.
Right? So you're being punished for being a good person, and you don't know what it's about. And then they want that confession. Well, Kevin, why are we hunting you down? Well, I could pick apart every minute detail of my life. I farted wrong when I was 6. I didn't breastfeed correctly. It's all going to come out to the same answer. It's irrelevant until you tell me, until my accuser tells me what I'm accused of, and then it can be dealt with.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as worldwide murder groups based on you know what you did.
No.
So anyways, once again, I believe this has to do with me being a wrestler in high school. And a pretty shitty one of that. But they did things like put a black girl on the wrestling team to try to make it look like I was taking my anger and rage out on black people. Well, they wanted me to train with her, and then she instantly quits. Things like that.
Okay.
But remember that the black thing starts at 8 years old with Tom Farley and my family. I kissed a black girl at Sunny Skies Day Camp. I'm a white supremacist and need to be hunted and killed. Correct? So now in high school, 16 to whatever, they're putting black girls with Damon Riggins and all these things on the wrestling team to try to prove or make it look like Kevin's full of anger and rage and look what he does to black people, right? Even though, like every other situation, absolutely nothing's done to the girl, and there's half-truths like, oh, girl joined the team, she wrestled with Kevin, she quit. Okay, well, let's take all the facts out. You could sort of, if you took someone's life and did these half-truths or out-of-context statements like that from thing to thing, you could make someone look like a really bad person. With zero fact, right? Okay, so I also believe Dincy is sort of working on Kevin's a wrestler, and Kevin supposedly also rivals and hates football player in football, so therefore he's working on another angle probably with wrestling and Kevin, and no proof, but you know, he has a certain set of behaviors which don't stop on some kind of personal vendetta for a good 6 to 8 years, and that links all the way back to 5 years old with groups of people. Okay, so I'm going to take a 10-second light break. Okay, let's get back to the important things. They're all important, but I can't even see my watch. Okay, 10:40. Okay, so we're going to continue now. There's a few things I had on the top, and then we're going back into Golden State Sports Medical, which worked on me for 14 years since my father told Lorena Escobar to approach me and hire me. And this was after they sent Mike Huntley after me to start Signet, who wanted me to come back from University of Colorado so bad to start Signet, an internet host provider, to do the same things before Lorena took over.
Right.
After Mike Huntley did a 180 from I'm your lifelong friend to I've spent my entire life hunting you to have you killed. One of the things he said with the you had better live a careful life and we're using the system against you and all that, was go talk to your father, wanting me. I didn't know what he wanted. I think my father wanted a confession, but hey, we scared the shit out of you, we destroyed your life, now go talk to your father.
Right.
Mike Huntley's singing World of Paranoia. I'm supposed to tell my father something, but like everything else, my father can't ask or tell me. You did something, but I won't tell you what.
Right.
You put your camera in my office on a tripod pointing out the window where nobody is in a private area. So I'm going to spend the next 10 years telling everyone you're a paparazzi, trying to abuse people with your camera worldwide for 10 years, and then finally after 10 years, I don't want a camera in my office. You get the idea. Why don't you just fucking say, I just don't want a camera in my office, and it's
10 years
it's done, and you don't destroy my life, especially worldwide. And how does he have the resources to do that? Well, that's the whole... Yeah. Okay, so, added a couple things at the top. Okay. You've seen, correct? You have witnessed at every location. We talked about this last week even. Every location we've been at, whether it's her office, over 600 gigabytes of data, video, and photos from her office alone for 5 months of mass attacks. All the way out to Camarillo, all the way out to Sherman Oaks. If I had my choice, I would take her fricking Washington, D.C. like I did policeabuse.com, to Mexico, to Florida, to Caribbean, to Britain, to Germany, and prove, because for some reason policeabuse.com didn't want to release the video and all this shit. But I do have the reports from them.
What did the reports say?
I can't remember specifically when I witnessed a police officer follow Kevin into a Starbucks, telling Kevin that he doesn't want him at Starbucks at any location in the world. Actually, he didn't tell me that. He told Greg Miller, the private investigator, who walked up to him pretending he's a customer, saying, what's going on? And he said, we don't want him at any Starbucks in the world.
Really?
Correct. So the police are dictating my life.
That's crazy.
Right? Kevin, I don't want you drinking coffee, and I don't want you putting salt on your food, and I don't want you at any coffee shop in the world, and I don't want you at any Starbucks in the world. Okay, right?
Right.
Hence why White House security was following me around, trying to thug me quiet. They didn't want me talking, right? Because they want me to live a healthy, good life, like my mother said. I just want you to have a good, normal life. What's normal?
Let me then.
Shoving a cattle prod up your ass every 5 seconds and saying don't have sex with women? I mean, what's normal? You know?
No.
Is the mother in the movie Carrie, is she normal? Okay, so...
Absolutely not.
Okay, so...
Why wouldn't they release the video? That if, like...
After we did the White House, he tucked tail and...
But he confirmed that.
I think it got too hot for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, here's a guy, without getting too sidetracked, ex-LAPD police sergeant, Don Jackson, Kamau Diop, devotes his life into stopping police corruption. I can't tell you his personal background of why he did that.
Yeah.
I can tell you that he comes off as a con man and a crook.
Okay.
Sorry, Diop, but the way you treated me, that's how you come off to me. But he did, with the yelling at me and the cutting me off, and I have bigger clients, and yeah, my life is and was at stake. And you're dishing out insane amounts of money, and it's like, I just don't give a shit. Well, if someone's bashing your skull in walking down the road, should I not give a shit and give me all your money? Anyways, I don't want to go too deep down that. Because they did serve a purpose, even though if Don Jackson really is who he says he is, especially with the amount I paid him, he should be busting his ass 24/7 trying to put a stop to this with me, because it's his name on the line. And if you fight for freedoms and constitutional rights, and someone like me comes to you, there's no fucking half-ass. I'm the fucking pot of gold. I might not be able to pay him $10 million.
Is there a beaver like that?
Yeah. I may not be able to pay him $10 million, but as far as the statement, don't worry, you won't argue. As far as...
Where'd it go?
He flew away. Is that beef?
Kevin, why is he attacking me?
Okay, you're safe. Hey, leave Brittany alone. She's bee-phobic.
I am.
Real bee. Literal bees.
Oh, gosh.
Literal bee-phobic.
Holy shit. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So she's recovering, and I sort of have to keep going forward because we're so limited on time, and I have so much to say.
Keep going. I'm so sorry. Go
so
ahead.
Sorry about being
No,
kind
thank
of,
you for saving me.
Yeah. So my point was that if Kevin Perlman, with billions of government dollars, falls in your lap, and you're an ex-police sergeant to keep people safe from corrupt police and judicial corruption,
Right.
then
You're like the perfect
you would,
party.
anyone who's truthful, would come to me for free and say, I'll take you for free to make the statement that I want to be part of, because there is nothing bigger than me in a situation like this.
Right.
I am like, and while people are running around these weird freaky angles, like, oh, Kevin wants to be the biggest target on the run or something, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Right. This is their situation, and they need to deal with what they've done to my life and the ramifications of no one else being safe. And Don Jackson should have saw that instantly, instead of kind of dick around with me and hustle me and try to get more and more money and this and that, and been like, this is fucking unacceptable. I'm an ex-police sergeant. This is unacceptable. Period.
Yeah.
And I will devote my fucking life to putting a stop to this, because I will be who I wanted to be by starting policeabuse.com, instead of throwing me under the bus and going, we counter surveillance, White House security following around, but we don't want you having the video, and now we're backing out. We did our job. Here's a little tuned down report, which still shows the police, insane amounts of police corruption, but leaving out the big picture. The things that were happening. Even in Washington, D.C., I had people getting hotel rooms in the same place, hacking into my computers, working with the government and all these people. I mean, it's pure insanity, right? Okay, so
That's insane.
You've witnessed at each location you've been to this happening, and more importantly, the mass groups showing up, taking turns, showing the strategic coordinated communication systems built around me to notify mass groups instantly to torture and kill me, with psychological warfare tactics that have changed since 5 years old from thing to thing, and progressed into more and more of a weapon since 1994, and the internet came around. My brother wanted me to see the government-built internet systems as they were starting to trickle into colleges and the private sector.
Right.
This is the equation to my life you have witnessed and which has been going on since I'm 5 years old. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go somewhere, or I'm at home with my brother and his friends and my friends. Mass groups start showing up doing these things on all levels. My brother used to keep flicking me in the back of the ear, then showing me movies, trying to send me hidden messages, hinting about flicks. Flicks are also movies, double meanings.
Right.
Trying to turn me into a... Yeah.
Everything he would do, he would say you did it.
So what is the equation? The equation is you're minding your own business, groups of people get together, and they start going ballistic on you.
For no reason.
For no reason. Not that there could be a good reason, but for no reason. For me being the nicest person on the man. You're a chump, you're a cheeseball, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's how it kind of starts. I think the bully tactic, right? I think you're too nice. I think you're a pushover. I think you're a doggy. Whatever, right?
Right.
Then the groups start coming. Everyone get together and do these things. Then you find out, and either you talk or you might talk, and that's when they decide we're going to kill you. Literally, okay? I'm not talking like figuratively or emotionally. Literally, or lock you away in jail cells or mental institutions, eradicate you. And then what happens is you get out of that group and you tell someone else. I remember I didn't even know it was happening until 29. So I was just talking about idle aspects of my life,
Right.
not in a mean way. And my stalkers would get defensive, like he can't talk, because they didn't want to open up Pandora's box, which is now open. So where things get strange is then maybe you move to Oregon and you tell someone that's supposedly out of the circle, and larger groups come in, you're a whistleblower, we're going to kill you.
Right.
And that's where things don't make sense. I mean, even walking in here, buying a cigar, he's whistling at me, you're a whistleblower, he's angry.
Okay.
And,
I was gonna ask you.
and the girl at McDonald's was doing the credit card tapping on the thing, right? Okay, so their mentality, which doesn't make any sense, is, Kevin, you don't talk about what we did to you growing up, or we're going to kill you. But what association do they have with my brother?
Right.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're government flagging and kill operations. And why is White House security following me around trying to thug me quiet?
Right. It makes no fucking sense.
Because if my brother has some personal vendetta at 5 years old when he's about 7, and he just spends the rest of his life trying to kill me, why does the White House give a shit and want him to do it?
They wouldn't.
Correct. So they're government agendas. Okay, so we might be having camera issues, possibly with heat. I put a Brittany's denim thing over it, and I'm not sure if the sensor overheated or not because the camera's not in the shade, but we'll see. Brittany needs shade, and I have no problem.
In the sun.
I've been in the heat all my life. Okay, so the point I was making was the equation, if you want to use math. A mathematical, reoccurring, never-ending equation is groups of people mob you to death. You don't tell anyone, or we rid you of the world. Then you move on to new groups. Those groups somehow are linked to the next group, to the next group, to the next group. Bam, you're 29, it's worldwide. We're going to kill you with Mike Huntley. You don't talk with Mike Huntley, right? Originally my brother's friend, me and my friends are going to put you in a mental institution, okay? Now my mother's neutral on the, it's okay for Jason to put Kevin in mental institutions.
Can't be neutral.
Right. Okay. What you've witnessed has been done to me all day and night, 24/7, since 29/5 years old with changing tactics. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Since 29, we're using the system against you. I'm 47 now. Every waking minute. Mass groups walking by, cars parked in twos, like, see these two black Explorers here?
Oh yeah.
Right? Oh, we got, and the two black Explorers, right? The Idaho Explorers. We had 2 Jeep Cherokees. The things that we witness at each place, and that ramp up after I get there, has been non-stop every couple of minutes. Whether it's on the internet and there's space, ... space, exclamation point, 3 exclamation points, 3 stars, 3 this, people messaging me 2 times over and over, person after person.
Right.
Every couple of minutes for 18 years, and before that the tactics were a lot more subtle, but people were told, hey, if you date Kevin, do this to try to provoke him into situations on a more subtle level.
Right.
So the equation's always been the same. How do we set this guy up?
How do we provoke him to a reaction?
Yeah, with passive-aggressive behaviors that look fairly invisible, but done in repetition in groups. Over and over and over and over until they can like try to get you to hit a girl or something like that, right?
Which is ridiculous because you're not that type of person. You wouldn't have to do that.
Correct. And if I was, they wouldn't have to do that.
Exactly.
If you're a good person, you don't have to set someone up or frame them.
Exactly. That just disproves their whole shit that they're trying to do. Cause
Yeah.
like, why would you have to set them up if they're already a shitty person?
Because they're murderers that don't want me talking about what they're involved in. could be really the only reason of something on this magnitude.
Just stop doing it. That's what I'm saying.
Correct. Why can't they stop doing it? Okay, so brother and his friends stealing stop signs, pinning on me, doing all sorts of their road rage crap they called runs, pinning it all on me. Also, Mike Huntley, who, as we talked about, introducing me when I was 16 to Melody, the stripper. You want to bounce at a couple cheeseball bachelor parties, and then telling me her boyfriend supposedly cut her brake lines to her car where she lived on a hill. And my guess is he's going out telling everyone, making up this gossip and drama.
Right.
Because why is my brother stealing stop signs and things? Preventing people from stopping, you get it?
Yeah.
You see the patterns?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And the fire hydrant, you said?
Yeah, supposedly my brother launched a VW onto a fire hydrant on their runs that they go out and try to... The same things they're doing to me, provoke people, get them to react, and get them to go after you. And they go, look what they did to me. Same types of things. And then training daying me one time, getting me to go along with them, right? To try to pin it all on me.
Right.
Okay, so,
Your mom? Is that
okay, brother and friends telling me, Mike Huntley sending me Melody, mother telling me, this was just to make a quick point, to understand the roots I come from. When I was a kid, my mother would tell me weird things, like neurotic things.
Right.
Like, I must have been around 16. Like, don't buy
A red car.
Don't buy a car that's red because it draws attention to people and the police.
Okay.
I mean, let's be realistic here, right? Nobody gives a shit if you see a red car on the road.
Cars.
Then I tell my father that maybe 8 years ago, and he tries to do an instant cover-up lie. No, what she meant was like a red Ferrari or something. Right?
Okay.
Well, how would he know what she's telling me 30 years ago?
You're right. There's no way.
Yeah. So he's covering up the personalities. Does that make sense? Kevin's a crazy nut job who thinks he saw an alien and blah blah blah, like the movie Phenomenon, and or K-Pax. I'm the alien in K-Pax. I'm Kevin Spacey now. I'm Kevin Spacey. Okay, so and remember, I also conform to media. So then you start talking about my mother, and this is her personality, where she's neurotic. No, she never said that. Well, why do you think he's really doing that?
To make you feel crazy?
Well, to create the illusion, not just to me, to give me disinformation, but to create the illusion as a whole that Kevin's crazy and Kevin thinks differently and Kevin says things that aren't in reality.
Which is garbage.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my quick add-ins, which have probably already taken way too much time with the camera puking. Okay, so now we're back to Golden State Sports Medical. I guess I can slow down a little.
Okay.
We spoke last time about Shanna Bryan Seva, and there's 27 others or something, all working on me for 14 years, but giving you examples of how they were not only sabotaging the computer system. Loreno's hiring people to sabotage the computer systems and do freaky things on it, trying to get reactions from me to turn around and use against me with people like to give out to the lawyers like Richard Barnwell and things like that, right?
Is Richard the first one who's just super not nice at all?
I mean, they're all like that, but
like angry.
yeah, the ones we were at Sharky's, just screaming like, I'm not gonna help support your plight.
That was awful.
And it was like, what's my plight? Saying breathing,
Right.
I have all the proof, but you won't look at it. Why won't you look at the proof? Why do you play stupid games like Seymour? I'm not going to agree that all these things are going on in public locations. I think something happened and you suffer from this and that. Bull fucking shit.
Right.
Right? There's trigger behaviors and there's reactions, and you can't go after the guy that's reacting to 100,000 to 1 million trigger mechanisms per day, and his reactions are harmless in nature by passing out cards, which is pretty surprising.
Exactly. If anything, they should see that. Like.
Yeah. I mean,
Your reactions are, you're not violent, you're not mean, you're not any of that stuff. You're handing out a piece of paper to here's the information, here's the real shit.
yeah.
That's all.
And I shouldn't even have to give out stupid cards or put up websites, which it states, like, why was this site built? Well, I really didn't want to do this. It states right on my stinking website from day one.
You wanted to live your life.
Yeah.
But you're not able to.
No, and now it's way beyond the point of no return.
But you're creating this, right?
You know, what's that Grateful Dead song? Casey Jones?
What
don't
can
know.
you sing? No, I'm sure I do.
Riding that train, high on cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I can't remember the lyrics, but it's something like you went this way and then you went, but you can't go back that way because it's too late, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Casey Jones, yeah.
They started a forest fire that you can't fix without. It's never fully fixable, and the only way to deal with the situation is get to the bottom and get to the truth.
Right.
You can't fix it by pretending it doesn't exist, not for me, because I'm the victim.
Right.
Right? So nothing gets fixed by them sweeping anything under the rug in my life, and maybe for them. If someone goes up and puts a bullet in my head, yeah, sure, it's fixed for them, but not for me.
No, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not okay at all.
Okay, so working with Golden State. So now you understand that before being hired from Golden State, what Brittany is witnessing here was going on before that, and it was actually going on before Mike wanted me to move back in '97 or '98 from University of Colorado and start a company with him.
Long before you even realized it was.
Yeah, and so they have no excuse. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their excuse is Kevin came in my company. He's trying to boat anchor my company. Blah, blah, bullshit.
You asked me.
You're in a fucking office, you're watching 28 employees take turns on me every couple of minutes, it's on video, you refuse to acknowledge it like everyone else, you know what's going on, and it comes in, why do you fucking hate me? Why do you want to have me killed? Right? That's like...
That makes me, yeah, it makes me really sad. It's really
It's
sad.
fucked
It's
up.
not okay.
What makes it sad is not one person, it's a planet.
Well, and it's your dad who's like instigating, yeah?
I'm not gonna, listen, I used to think my family were the best thing since sliced bread.
Why wouldn't you?
And that was a shock for me, and that's a lot to deal with, but I'm not going to tell you that people don't have abusive families. They do all the time.
They do, but it doesn't make it okay.
So my cherry poppin' drunk daddy father,
Wait, what now? I've never heard that before.
there's a band called Cherry Poppin' Daddies, and there's a song called
What?
Drunk Daddy, and
No, there's no.
yeah, it's a really good band, by the way. Small band, tiny.
Really?
I found out about them in Oregon. They had like 2 or 3 albums. That's it. Faded away. Back in '91. And they're like hip hop slash. It's really cool. They're
That's wild. Okay. I'm gonna-
Without getting sidetracked, that all links to Eric Christensen, who wanted to see the band, or wanted me to listen to the music, linking to my family and these illegal police operations with San Diego PD and his girlfriend Jen and my father and Paul Humphrey and guns, and them putting bullet holes in my father's car. And so it's all interlinked. It's not just, it's a good band with an abusive song about abusive father. It actually comes from one of the people sent after me. So my point is that my father, when he told Lorena to hire me, knew exactly what the situation is, even though he denies it. Okay, and as I was hired, just like we're seeing now, working with all communities and cities worldwide, take turns on me with their local attacks or wherever I am in the world. So, like we were talking before, I go out to the beach, start writing a book. I come back when Swazo is leading with the office, try to create mental illness to stop me from writing books. Right? Well, how does Gwen Swazo have communication all the way down Point Magoo PCH?
Shouldn't.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, instant communication. Okay, example, go out to the beach. Oh, I just said that, write a book. Instantly, when I come back, harassment, Gwen Swazo, father. Then she's hinting about my Lord's gym shirt. We talked about this from Southern Oregon State College 20 years prior.
Right.
How does she have the information? It's information that nobody cares about anyways, but how does she have it?
Shouldn't have any information.
Correct, so they're NSA level data mine operations. They're collecting, twisting, and contorting. Okay, and archiving. Okay, Shannon Bryan Seva. We talked about bouncing emails. I think we talked about her following me to coffee shops.
Yeah.
And direct communication with the coffee shop employees on the way to the office. I get a coffee. I'm harassed by an employee. I get to the office. She will do a harassment that lets me know of the dialogue. Do you understand?
Yeah, I
Showing the connect, but nothing's directly said. Okay?
do. And that's how you make people feel.
Yeah, and this goes on from person to person. George in the office would also do with different Starbucks locations. Dominique, who supposedly his brother worked for LAPD to catch people in kiddie porn, who they wanted to sit next to me, trying to intimidate me, would have people follow me asking about camera lenses and things.
Seriously?
Yeah, this is never ending, right? Okay. Shannon Bryan Seva started to try to cover up their mass stalking by accusing me of things I said. Okay, so the same equation. You're in an office, 14 years, every couple of minutes, mass attacks. They're trying to get reactions. Every single person in the office with my own father looks the other way, nothing's going on. Well, look what you did. So if there's any kind of reaction or perception of a reaction, they're coming after me even more.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Look what you did. Like, you did nothing, so
Yeah. And so if for 5 years they walk by clicking pens, and then I get enough's fucking enough and I start clicking pens back, every lawyer like Richard Barnwell is told Kevin's causing chaos and havoc in the office by walking by and clicking pens, as Richard Barnwell's Cochrane firm employees walk by clicking pens.
right. It's totally, yeah.
Okay, so you're like my father said, we're gonna kill you and you're not allowed to defend yourself, right? Of course he didn't say the we're gonna kill you part.
But you're not allowed to defend
Yeah.
yourself. Like, what does that even mean? Just take it? And
Well,
I'm not gonna help you?
I mean, first, no one would ever say that, but let's use an analogy. Let's say I want to kidnap you and I want to carve you up with a knife. I want to
let me do
disembowel
that.
you and create art out of you. Okay?
Just let me do it. You can't fight back.
Correct. I'm going to duct tape your hands
And
because
you
I don't
just
want you
take
defending
it.
yourself, because if you're swinging your fists, you're going to scratch my head, you're going to punch me in the face. Well, you're not allowed to defend yourself because I got to create art out of your dead carcass.
Self-defense.
Right? Okay?
Yeah, it's
So
horrifying.
the statement from my father, you're not, and by the way, I'm just making an analogy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about I know he would never do
My
that.
father's statement with Mike Huntley as well, you're not allowed to defend yourself, is just that.
Yeah,
Just fucking die.
just take it.
And then just ignore it from Seymour Amster and other attorneys.
What you
Learn
tried
to accept
do-
it.
Oh, well,
Accept it from Brian Longbottom. Accept it. You're crazy, right? Okay,
how
so...
can you accept something like that? That's
And
so
you don't even know what
horrific.
you're supposed to be accepting, right? You
Right.
haven't even been told what the fuck's going on.
No, it's not.
Okay, so towards the end of my father firing me, she says something like, and I couldn't deal with the amount. Every 10 minutes for 14 years was some kind of accusation. Whether it's I'm into kiddie porn, or I'm stopping them from working, or I'm blocking them,
When all you're doing is helping.
is accusation after accusation, ranging from criminal to subtle, and it's like my father's lying, going, "This is how businesses are," you know? And so I say to her, because at this point I have years of surveillance video and this and that.
Yeah.
Keep bouncing. Jesus. Kept bouncing email. Following me to Starbucks. Shannon Bryan 7 started trying to cover it up, their mass stalkings, by accusing me with my father. Hence the police cover-ups. My father fired me when I refused to let him take me out to dinner for my birthday. And the cover-ups, Shannon Bryan Seva and everyone pretending the systems don't work, telling me what to do with Lorena, just trying to make my life impossible until I'm dead and gone. Where was it? My line.
Is it on the next page?
I I just read it and I can't. Oh, here. Accusing me of things, and she comes up to me at one point, just the like 975th million accusation.
Right.
And I say, you know what? I don't fucking know what you're talking about. Just prove it. Sort of dangling the carrot back.
Yeah.
To show she's a stalker like Dincy. Right?
Yeah.
And that's around the time my father got mad. Kevin got to dinner with me, fires me. She's upset, and like sort of breaks down from happy to tearish, like he's not going to tolerate our shit.
Right.
And then that's when things really get bad with the police coming back, even though 2013 were the original Dincy and Jensen arrests for sitting on the sidewalk. Them going, okay, we now we got him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yet I have 5 terabytes of video footage and surveillance video in my father's office,
Right.
but the lawyers don't want to use it. That's the strange part,
Doesn't
right?
make sense.
Yeah.
So are you? I don't know. It's fucked up. Are you hoping that somebody will be honest and see this and?
Somebody has to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and take it up the ass without Vaseline and just go, okay, rape me every day and I'll do whatever you tell me. And then let's say that stops after 42 years. Okay, well now the baggage is there, the damage is there.
The pain, the trauma, all this
Everything,
stuff.
the pain, the trauma, but more important than that, the defamation worldwide to stop me from ever having any type of life. Well, that means dating women, having friends, going to public places like we've seen.
And how do you trust anybody?
You can't. It's impossible.
It's like,
Unless they can be direct and honest. And they're not going to be, apparently.
and even then, it would be, well, I can imagine, like, it would still be hard, too. It's like, 'cause
Would you want a neutral around you in something like this that
There's
can't
no
even admit to
neutral.
the situation?
no, if you're neutral, then, like, you're not with me.
Correct. It's like,
So-
let's take an analogy we can talk about. Slavery. Let's say a black guy sat right here and he said, I was a slave, I had to pick cotton for 20 years, they whipped me every day, and I sat there and said, you know what, I'm neutral and it never happened. Do you think that guy would probably beat the living fuck out of me?
Probably, yes. Because that's horrible.
Okay, so the point is that if you told a guy that was a slave half his life that slavery didn't exist and to accept it and this and that and I'm neutral,
Fuck no.
he would beat the living fuck out of you.
Right. That's so wrong.
Because the point I'm making is, how can you look at something like slavery or what Adolf Hitler did and say it never happened, and then, especially to the victim,
Yeah.
either the guy is just the stupidest moron known to man, or he's a bullshit manipulating, murdering bullshit artist,
Right.
and you don't want to be around a fucking manipulating,
No.
murdering bullshit artist.
No.
So, back to my father, hey, come out to dinner with me. No, if you're not going to admit to the fucking situation, I'm not going out to fucking dinner with you.
Right.
While
exactly.
have person after person try to mentally bash my skull in with a crowbar.
All day, every day.
Yeah, and cause the same effects as you would physically bashing someone's skull in with a crowbar.
It's deeper wounds, too.
Yeah, because you know what? If someone were to actually bash my skull in with a crowbar, and I survived, I'd be in the hospital for a month or something, or I might have really bad brain damage, I can't tell you.
Then
But at least it would be instant. And I'm not saying the rest of my life would be good, but at least,
pain, like the initial.
yeah, like if someone walks up and punches you, it takes a couple seconds and it's done with. All day and night for 18/42 years, watching person after person torture you, whole different ballgame. Okay?
It's like never ending.
Unprecedented torture,
Never
pain,
ending pain, and it's
and crime. Also crime.
Yeah.
Keep it on the, it's a crime.
it is.
Okay, so now, remember I'm just putting a couple notes for each person, for a couple of the people.
Yeah.
What's on my website under people and tactics is 1,000,000 miles long. Still doesn't come close to the specifics that I can remember. But This is just to give you a taster. Okay, so Alita. When they first hired me, they had a black girl named Alita. Now remember, Kevin's a white supremacist and he hates black people. Because at 8 years old, he kissed a black girl, and he's also crazy because he saw an alien. According to Tom Farley, who also says I hate Persians as well. Interesting. And has contacted all the Persian groups at coffee shops to hunt me down. Right? And we talked about that a little.
Yeah, we did.
And after I mentioned Tom Farley's name last month, Persian groups ramped up their attack in my local areas. So you can see the direct connection between the communication. And who they're trying to protect. Why, I can't tell you.
No.
Okay, Alita was used for several reasons. One was she was black, and their lies that I hate black people because my family doesn't want me.
Which makes no fucking sense because you kissed.
Well, it does.
Well, I mean, like the facts though, like you kissed like a black girl, like you said. So clearly you're not racist, but they don't want.
Correct, because there's a difference between the truth and propaganda.
Right.
And
It's ridiculous.
without the propaganda, nothing's ever questioned. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're just out living your life. Nobody cares.
Right.
But now, if I elevate you to President of the United States status,
Yeah.
if you bite your nail wrong, it's on the news.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So, the propaganda is a internet-based system in 1994. Before that, it was all other methods, having people follow me, like Kelly Hatch, to follow me up to Southern Oregon State, making up lies around with the police in the local areas, and then same thing done to me in
Everywhere.
Colorado and then back. Then the internet came around when I was in Colorado in 94, and they realized they had a whole new terror system to torture and kill with. Obviously government operations. And so the propaganda is secretly Kevin raped a girl. Secretly Kevin's a thief and is a car thief.
Proof of any of that?
There's no proof.
Exactly. 'Cause
That's
we've
why
never
it's
seen it.
in secret and propaganda, and you're not allowed to defend yourself.
Right.
So propaganda, if anyone knows anything about propaganda, it's government information. It's just fabricated for them to get what they want. At any point that you get smarter, they just make up new lies. Yeah. Okay, so, but remember, most people, if something's said about them and it's worldwide, it's on a news source.
Right.
And they flip on the news and they go, Fox News lied, I'm going to sue them
Yeah.
for defamation, slander, libel.
Absolutely.
So the way things are being done,
We don't have an outlet.
correct, they're intentionally crafted so you can't defend yourself
So
while
you're
being hunted and
isolated.
killed.
Yeah.
And you're being hunted and killed without being physically touched.
So
Right?
you can't prove it, even
Cor-
though there have been violent physical attacks on
Yeah,
you
and
as
then
well.
cops covered up by reversing it and saying I did this to them.
It's like, really? Because you're bleeding right now, and but I did this. Yeah. Okay.
Each thing,
Makes no sense.
each thing, the people at 16 told to wait in the side of the roads and launch their vehicles perpendicular to try to cause accidents. They're running around, and then the lady jumping out saying I tried to kill her, who launched her car at me in front of me. The cops are still to this day running around trying to say that Kevin's full of anger and rage, ramming people on the road.
It's,
Right?
you can't. I can't. It's like
Think of the
that.
resources
Right.
and the what the fuck and why, right? And
The why is what gets me.
yeah, well, the why starts at 5 years old. And if you're saying at 5 years old I bought an Uzi and blew away 100,000 people, then
That's okay. Okay. That's different though. What did you do? Throw some mud in the fucking road?
what?
All you did was throw some mud in the road. Look,
Yeah.
what did you do? Nothing.
That doesn't even qualify as a spanking.
No.
Okay, so that's my point. So it's a trivial pursuit.
Right.
And trivial pursuits are about hate. Do you understand? It's I hate you and I want to kill you, so how can I make it look justified? Or maybe in your own mind you think it's justified. Well, you farted in the room I was in, so now I need to bash your skull in.
Because you
It's your
fart
fault.
toxic gas? Like, I don't get it. It still is like...
Well, because we're talking about psychotics.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They don't think rationally. They don't think sanely.
No.
So
not
when
at
you're
all.
talking to my father who's a psychotic saying I think differently, he's right.
Like, thank God you do.
I think
right?
differently than a psychotic murderer. He's right. Okay? So in that respect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alita, this black girl, now they chose her because they were referring to hacking, the movie's Hackers.
Hackers? I don't think I've seen that.
It's around 1995
Okay.
with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, okay.
There's things on the box cover actually based around my life I didn't even know was going on until maybe 5 years ago. A girl named Lynn Junkin, part we talked a little about
I
before,
remember
the
that
16-year-old,
name.
part of the IRC parties,
Yeah.
came to the group party wanting us to see hackers and talking about someone's laptop being stolen, actually inferring that I had stolen someone's laptop, which I wasn't picking up on. And the world was being told that I'm hacking people. And I was even having groups come in trying to ask me to help hack or crack software and things like that on IRC, and I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
Right.
Okay? So, once again, the setups. There's this line about, like, they would all try to compete with each other. They would be the best hackers. And then they would have this phrase like, you're elite.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where it came from, I think. So she's sitting in the office and she's pretending that everyone's making her paranoid, like they're doing to me. Just like the Dominique, or the Nico, not Dominique. The Nico and the El Pollo Loco. Oh, hey, I'm crazy too. Or I'm paranoid. I don't want to say crazy. I'm paranoid too. They're doing this to me too, trying to infiltrate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Get anything to use against you. And so, then she sort of starts asking me, you know, can you lock my Word documents for me? They're going in and they're changing my things in Word and whatever. And I think I helped her once, and then look what Kevin's doing. He's screwing with it, right?
Alita?
Yeah, all of them working together.
Right.
And then because you have sympathy, if someone else is being hunted like you in an office, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you're a good person, you're gonna help. Like,
yeah,
you
and you're
help.
trying to be safe, you're trying to keep her working and everyone working. But they're murder situations with mass mobs. You can't, there's no real win to the situation. I mean, it's the witch hunt. It's being tied to a pole and stoned to death. You don't win. You just die. There's just too many and it's just insane, right? And as everyone's basically running around saying I'm different and I must be a witch, right? Okay, so it's the police basically referred to as my kind with Starbucks. Okay.
That is, yeah.
Also, there's references about my life in the movie Alita, Battle Angel. Tons of things about my life in the movie and linking back to Alita. And you know Alita was pitching the Kevin hates black people thing, probably try to cover up what she's doing.
Right.
And I have her recorded. She was in my area. She states she lives in my area. I have no clue. I was walking home from the park. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. This was right before
When you quit?
the trial. After the 2016 arrest, but before the trial.
Okay.
She's walking down the street. She recognizes me. She says she lives right down the street, which I highly doubt. We have a conversation. This is all recorded on YouTube. We have a conversation about how they were doing things to her in her office and making her paranoid. She says, what are you talking about? That never happened.
Are you kidding?
No. Showing who she really is. Of course, when she's done, she says bye-bye with Detective Angela Stewart, who started with the bye-byes.
Right.
Okay, so you can make the connection. They hire me. They're working with the police to set me up. She's working on me. They're all trying to make me look crazy and mentally ill. She's pretending to be crazy.
And then
She's trying to set me up more.
Right.
Then comes after the arrest. None of it ever happened, and I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin. You're crazy. You're just paranoid. I never said any of that. And I can remember talking to her, calling her at home to fix her computer or something, because she gave me the number.
Yeah.
I can't work.
You were trying to
I
help?
call her.
Yeah.
And within the context, this isn't out of the business boundaries or
No,
whatever.
not at all. It's totally
I can't remember the exact
appropriate.
situation, but
But you were helping
I mean, she calls me at home to come in and fix the computer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
You're not instigating any of it.
yeah, so there's nothing freaky or shady going on to begin with, despite what they say, and one time her husband answers and he's angry at me. I've never met her husband.
Right.
I don't know her. I don't know her fucking husband. I mean, to this day, I don't know who she is other than a person in an office asking for my help.
Right.
And her husband sounded a lot like Richard Barnwell. That angry tone, like, I want to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
But where's it coming from? Okay, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
I don't know her. I don't know why she'd be mad at me like any of these other people. Okay, so,
You're trying to help her.
yeah. And then remember, she's working with Lynn Junkin on the hacking angles, who's also associated with my brother's friend Mike Wexler in Colorado. He introduced me to, trying to set me up for statutory rape with her, or manipulate me into liking a 16-year-old, telling me that statutory rape laws are under 16 in Colorado and things like this. Okay? So all these things from state to state are all connected. Okay? When they thugged me out of the office to try to stop me from getting work done, then I was followed by worldwide groups, with them to coffee shops in anger attacking me. Then years after, fired, still following me in mass groups. Back to them, showing that after they got what they wanted, me no longer working there, they are still hunting me. Why? Didn't they just want to get me out of the office? Why are they still hunting me? Right? And I just put to have me killed the original motive. Okay? If the agenda is, I don't like Kevin, so we're going to rid him of the world, get him out of the office, why is it every office in the world, and every college, and every house I've ever lived in?
Right. It's obviously bigger than that, though.
Yeah. It's not, things aren't what they seem from the small, it's like the restaurant thing. Jincy and Jensen were mad at me because I kept going back to my brother's barbecue, where they gave me the ticket for sitting on the sidewalk. And Jensen's words to me, well, Kevin, if you don't like it at my brother's barbecue, why do you keep going back? Trying to make me look obsessed.
It's nothing to do with you not liking it there.
It's not about, correct, it's not about my brother's barbecue. This happens at every restaurant in the world, as Brittany, Brittany is, we've witnessed on video and Brittany's seen. It's about eating food. And if you're attacked, correct. So. And if you're attacked at every restaurant in the world, you can't not go to every restaurant or supermarket in the world.
Right.
You have to still go, or you die.
Exactly.
So these are catch-22, double-blind scenarios where no matter what happens, we're gonna ratchet down and rid you of the world.
Right.
We're gonna keep changing the argument until we get what we want. Nothing based on truth or fact.
Out of our ass until,
What?
No, they just keep pulling out different things out of their ass.
Yeah, every hour.
Disgusting.
Every hour is a changing argument for them to get what they want.
Right.
But these arguments go to the world. That's the problem.
So then everybody in the world has misinformation about you.
Correct. Also known as propaganda.
Right.
Or
still here.
defamation, slander, libel. Brittany's cleaning. She's throwing away.
Sorry, I'm sticky. I'm paranoid about bees landing on me because I ate chocolate.
Okay, so
Here.
where are we?
On Brandon.
Okay, back. So my point is, hey, we finally got rid of you, but that's not enough. We're still coming at you in the next place.
Right.
Right? Why? I mean, we just... Okay, so Brandon is another black dude my dad hired as an x-ray tech. Black employee, x-ray tech, told to stalk me and work with the black community and black employees at all coffee shops to hunt me while provoking me endlessly in anger. Okay? Obviously strategic. I have a feeling that my father's pretty much a racist and probably hates black people, but he's using black people to turn them against me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He had a black limo driver named Dion Bush. I finally got the joke. D. on Bush.
Oh my god.
Dick on Bush.
Yeah. I can't
And not only sending me hidden messages, but then after my father fired Dion, and supposedly Dion also went to jail for possibly stealing like a Nintendo PlayStation. So he supposedly went to jail for 3 years. And I looked up his record. It says he has a clean background record. So I don't think he really did. And then he befriends me and starts working on me with the black people. Right? You get the idea? So, and then finally I told Dion, I said, look, Dion, I said, my father flat out said you're a criminal. Because he did.
Shit, yeah.
And Dion got pissed. And that's when he realized he was being used. He was being tooled.
Did he quit?
No, this was years after my father fired him because he didn't need the limo anymore. But my father was running around. Oh, that's right, Dion, I forgot. Dion came up to me and he said, you know, Lorena's running around the office saying that you're crazy.
He's the one who came up to you and told you.
Yeah. He said, Dion, Lorena's saying you're crazy. And for everyone to do all these things. And he had a vending machine in the office he was making money off refilling it.
Yeah.
I said, well, you know, can you support me or say something, you know, whatever.
Something.
And then I tell my father says, well, Dion's crazy and he's a criminal with his labels. I said, what do you mean he's crazy? I have it on video here.
Right.
Yeah, no, people whistle, whatever. Oh, you're supposed to watch the video of whatever.
Of which one?
The video of the office people whistling over and over
Yeah,
and saying yes, 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 and doing things in threes and behind what I'm trying to work.
Right.
Okay, it went on nonstop for 14 years. So, it's on video. Dion has witnessed it. My father states that Dion's a criminal. And my father refused to acknowledge the video. You get the idea.
Yeah.
And my father sat there every Tuesday and Thursday next to me watching it, but couldn't pick up on it. Like, is he the stupidest moron with a medical degree? Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay, so
So Dion had your back if he like was letting you know what's up. Or what do you
no,
think
he
his
didn't though.
reasoning?
He said he witnessed it, and then he did things like he wanted me to photo his wedding, and I did it for free out of a friendship. And that's not what I do. I don't really like doing wedding photography,
Right.
so.
That was nice.
But I did it for a
Another
favor,
nice
and at the end of the speech, he was belittling me in front of everyone on the
What'd he
speech.
say?
I don't remember exactly, like something about like having a dog to. I don't remember, you know. I don't remember the exact words, but some kind of reference like I own Kevin and he's a pushover, you know, something like that.
After you did this huge favor.
Yeah, so that was the point, right? So then you're like, is this guy on my side? Isn't he? Well, someone who witnesses Lorena saying that isn't going to help. Right? It's like I'm just teasing you while giving you a false sense of hope or something while I work on you, right? Okay, so, but he was black. Then they hired Brandon, the x-ray tech, and they had this thing where my father brought in, he bought a new x-ray, like a PAX machine, I don't remember all the terminology, a newer type of x-ray where it's stored digitally.
Yeah.
But the x-ray company couldn't set up the software correctly, and my father kept coming to me, Kevin, this doesn't work, and so I sort of had to
Figure it out.
go in the gray areas of the boundaries to make his shit work for him because they couldn't.
How could
I
they
didn't
not?
have to do it, but my father would sit there yelling on the phone all day and never get anything done. While patients are coming in.
Yeah.
So I redesigned the whole, I learned about it and I redesigned the whole KPAX system and network server environment with the KPAX. PAX, not KPAX. PAX software.
And you're taught, like, oh my gosh, that's pretty incredible, you know, that you're able to do that. I wouldn't be able to.
Well,
There's no other
but,
way.
I mean, that's not what you do, but if you
But,
had
like,
my
the
background or...
company couldn't even fix it, and you did.
Well, I was the only techie company. There was one man in 28, and I was the only guy that knew IT or computers, any aspect.
Right.
Even how to add a stupid shortcut to the desktop. Okay, I mean these people didn't know the basics of anything.
Right.
Okay, so I had to do it all. We didn't have little meetings about how to roll out newer environments and the IT with keeping the network stable. We didn't have all that. It was a tiny little shitball company. Okay? If I worked at corporate America and we were going to update servers, we would have all sorts of virtual test environments, and it would be rolled out in such a way with zero downtime or the possibility of, and everything would be tested.
Right.
But it's a one-man show with 13 servers I built, and I have to keep 28 desktops all running it with the 13 servers, and I'm doing a really good job. Even if a computer was crippled beyond recognition, a desktop, I could have them working in 30 minutes.
That's fucking great.
Okay, I just roll out a new image file of the OS and restore this. Okay, so I had it dialed in, I had it nailed down. Okay, from a competency argument, they have no argument.
You gotta give yourself credit, Kevin, because like that's pretty amazing. I'm not kidding.
I think when you're comparing your world to my world,
Well,
it seems more amazing. Does that make sense?
It does, but like regardless of that.
Like if I go to a circus and I see a tightrope walker, I'm like, that's amazing. But the tightrope walker is in a family of all tightrope walkers.
But do you know other people that can do what you did?
Oh, shitloads.
Really?
Oh yeah.
To me, I'm just.
And I know jack shit compared to someone who's really talented in computers. Okay,
I'm just
so.
saying, you were able to figure it out.
But I know
no
enough.
idea.
I know enough to build a company infrastructure with modular servers,
That's so
virtual
cool.
systems. When I went in there, virtual computing didn't even exist.
You fixed an X-ray machine that you didn't know anything about.
Well, I did. I mean, well, you're wrong. I mean,
I'm wrong.
how do you even? I've been working on computers since
Forever.
8 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've always had a computer background.
Right. But not specifically.
I didn't have an IT background,
Right.
but I learned how to build hardware-based computers. My dad, when I was a little kid, we'd go to the computer swap meets, and my dad taught me how to build computers.
Okay.
And then I kind of surpassed him
Yeah.
because
A lot.
his passion is slicing people open with scalpels, and my passion is computers. Okay, so
That's actually like both very accurate. Like that's crazy.
yeah, so I know that's why I taught myself how to do 3D animation, visual effects in college, and
Right.
I knew hardware builds before that. I didn't know IT level server systems. I learned that
On your own.
on my own while Lorena's saying, Kevin, do you want to do this? But I quickly learned it because
You're smart.
I have the base and foundation,
And you're smart.
so it makes it easy to learn the other things. Does that
You're
make sense?
Smart too, though. I'm just saying. I'm giving you credit until you
Well, if
can't.
I'm smart, it's a different kind of smart than a book smart, college degree smart.
Regardless, is intelligent a better word?
I don't know. If I were to take an IQ test, I'd be below average, I think.
Really? I don't.
My
think
SAT
so.
scores were embarrassing.
So maybe
I
you're
was
not good
all
at
C
test
student, no
taking.
matter how much I studied, all C student, high school, college. Okay, so normally
Maybe
when you
not
say you're
books.
brilliant or intelligent, you're looking at 5.0 students.
I guess I'm just looking at overall, not based on test scores. Like maybe somebody's a good test taker, but they don't have like the overall. You know what I mean? So different. Anyway, I'm sorry.
And I was always
born.
born with learning disabilities, so I learned slower than everyone else. So I had to overcome all these things.
Right.
I didn't openly start telling everyone, hey, I'm a retard, but like,
Oh. I mean, did you have a hard time like retaining information, or what was it?
no, I think I have a pretty good memory, but I'm absent-minded. So
Okay, I understand that.
I was out building cars and learning it all on my own,
Yeah. You learned.
but I forgot to go to
differently.
Gregoire's wedding. Right? Do you understand? Okay?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Like
I
Dr.
totally do.
Doolittle or whatever.
Right.
Okay, so we only have 10 minutes left. We're having a camera nightmare today.
Is it not working still?
Yeah, it's working now.
What that one just?
I unplugged it because we only had 10
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
So whatever, we'll just sum this up. As far as we can all debate what intelligence is and isn't, but I would have to tell you that if someone wants to say that I'm intelligent or brilliant, then it's going to be something way different than the norm in the spectrum, because for me, life's been very difficult, whether it's been learning.
Or things out of your control.
No, I don't want to say out of my control,
Well,
just
what's happening to you is not in your control. That's what I meant.
Look, my brother would chug beers every night and get A+s and get 4.0s and go to medical school, and I would read the same book and flashcards 100,000 times, and I think I knew it. I go in and I take a test and I get a C.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter, and I could read my flashcard just as the answer. It didn't matter. So most people base brilliance off the ability to have IQ tests, SAT scores,
Right.
college degrees, getting masters in college.
There's different ways.
I wasn't capable of doing that. I went to college and I struggled. I worked my ass off, and I worked 10 times harder than everyone else. And I'd always get C's, and I remember struggling and having to taking too many classes, too much material. I have really bad reading comprehension skills.
That's what I was wondering. I had that
But I have the ability to take it upon myself at 16 to pick up books how to build engines and just tackle it and do it.
too. Right.
And then I'm hunted for it. And that's a little Doogie Howser-ish, I guess, but Doogie Howser also was like a 5.0 student, which, you know.
5.0, that's crazy.
Well, he's probably
There
like a
are
4 point
5.0s
something,
now.
but whatever.
No, there's 5.0s now. I didn't know that.
I don't know, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, like someone just told me that.
So, okay, so let's sum it up because we gotta go, or Brittany's gotta go. This other camera's rolling and I haven't been paying attention, but I didn't see many of the stalkers walking by.
I didn't either.
It seemed very quiet. A couple of pairs of cars and twos.
A few horns.
A couple of groupings surrounding area, but the instant people that show up as we're sitting here talking, or if I'm by myself, I didn't see them today. The employee kind of lashed out in a little hostility, whistling like I'm a whistleblower, and I think he's Persian. Angry that it's stopping, right? That killing me is stopping.
Do you think it's gonna ramp up when I leave?
Very possible, because like when we went to
Wildflower? No.
no, it was a cafe down in Camarillo, Aroma or whatever.
Oh, in Newberry?
It was Newberry Park, Aroma Cafe. It was silent like this, and then within the 10 minutes that she was leaving, it just started going crazy for about 2 hours after. And I have all the video after how it goes from nothing and then she leaves and it's crazy, and then the things that aren't on the video are the conversations, me getting the haircut next door, and them asking all these weird investigative questions.
I didn't know about
No, I didn't tell you. Like, the Asian girl, first is like, who are you, blah, 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 here's the card, I don't know you, yeah, whatever. You've been here all day, blah, blah, blah. So everyone's wondering what you're doing.
So they knew that you've been there all day?
Well, and I said, well, I haven't been here all day. I've been here for about an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
That's not all day. And then she kept repeating, you've been here all day. But what does it matter?
Right.
I mean, people go to coffee shops all day everywhere in the world.
And why are they watching knowing that you're there all day?
Because they're playing this game like the Mike Huntley bullshit. It's your behavior, and you're here too long, so now we have 100,000 people show up trying to torture and kill you. The same argument that when I go take a walk at the park and sit on the park bench for more than 10 minutes,
Right.
groups of people start coming out of their house attacking me, and it escalates to the point where Fox News brings out about 12 police helicopters and hires Greg Gutfeld to work on me with Fox News and that level of the entertainment industry to have me killed for sitting on a park bench past 10 minutes, things nobody cares about.
Right.
So
and
they're making up the lame justification
and it's,
to justify killing me, and if it was any other person. My point is, if I were to take my actions and behaviors for the past 47 years and somehow implant that on you as if you were me, and your 47 years you made every decision I made on the same situations, nobody would give a fuck, and Brittany would be a really good person,
I'd be
and they couldn't care less, and they would say you have your right to privacy, and if you want to sit on a park bench for 10 minutes or 10 hours, nobody gives a flying fuck.
Right.
And my point, which is obvious, is that if Brittany is a good person for the exact same behaviors, and I'm a bad person, then it's not about my behaviors, it's about someone that doesn't like me.
Right. It's something else.
Yeah.
Just individually. Or
Yeah.
something. What is it called? Yeah.
Discrimination.
Yeah.
Stalking, discrimination. We don't like your
Personal.
kind, bigoted, racist, and the rest is all justification to get what they want, which is extermination.
And I have a question. So, like, just how would those ladies even know that you've been there at all? And why is it not weird that they know that you've been there for a couple hours? Because it is.
Well, first the ladies were next door.
Right, but like
Like
were they
looking out.
Oh, they were looking out.
We
the
sat
window?
outside,
Yeah.
and they probably walked in and out.
I was just
But
saying,
I can
like,
guarantee
still.
you, let's role play this. I'm gonna pretend I'm a Supercuts employee.
Okay.
Hi. I just arrived at work today, and a guy sat out there for longer than 2 hours. I mean, that's crazy. We need to
Right.
call in the troops and have 100,000 people show up honking the horns twice in clothing patterns because some guy is sitting out in front of a coffee shop for longer than 2 hours, and he could be the next Vegas shooter,
And,
just like Sean Dinsey.
And then it's like, well, you said you just got to work, so how do you know he's been here for 2 hours?
No, my point. Well,
No,
I don't know. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Because
Okay.
that's something that would happen though. Like I just got here and this dude's been here for this long.
Correct, and you're right on the level of everything I do is transmitted worldwide instantly. They're never going to admit it,
Right.
but let's, for argument's sake, say that it's just someone that was working next door and they were observing
Why would they care?
a guy sitting in front of a coffee shop talking to Brittany, and I'm with someone. So this time they have even less of an excuse.
Right.
I'm
And-
talking to Brittany. I'm in front of a coffee shop for an hour and a half. I'm there for about 2 hours.
It's
or
totally
2.5
normal. They see that
hours.
every day. You know?
Nobody's gonna give a shit. But now let's
No.
change up the role play argument.
Okay.
I'm walking in, I'm a Supercuts employee. Shit. I just got here and Kevin Perlman is sitting outside. That's unacceptable. His kind can't leave his house. We're going to kill his kind. So everyone show up and do these things. Now I gotta sort of brainwash and give Kevin disinformation to keep him in the boiling water.
Right.
Kevin, you know, you've been at a coffee shop all day. I mean, that's just crazy, insane behavior.
Like, what
Whoa,
are you
am I
talking
in a
about?
twilight zone here? It's crazy. Why do coffee shops have tables and plugs or little magnet wireless chargers on
They
tables?
have to stay for hours.
Correct. That's
People
how they
do that
make
all
their
the
money.
time. Yeah. People do it all the time, every day.
They do it every day, all day, and if they didn't, coffee shops either wouldn't exist or they would be drive-thrus only, because in capitalism, you don't invest money in things that don't make money.
Right.
You cater to the customer, and the customer is always right, and if the customer wants to stay there 12 hours a day, every day,
That's fine.
the coffee shop employee shouldn't give a shit, because
No.
it's not their business. Their business is one thing. I work for a corporation that wants to make money, and I do whatever my corporation tells me to make money, unless the corporation tells me to go out and kill people.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, you get the idea that everything that's happening to me is personal, and
Right,
everything they say is bullshit, and that's why they don't say much, because they have no valid, rational, sane
Back it up?
argument.
No. Oh my god, this had so much ash on it.
Sorry.
How did that happen?
This.
Oh, it must have flown, yeah?
Yeah.
I do have to go, but I don't know if you want to wrap it up.
Yeah, okay, so wrap it up. Brittany's gotta go. We'll continue this
Friday?
next. Okay, Friday. There's our first gray and black, but
Yep.
there's just one. Usually there's a good 10 to
10,
20.
at least.
Especially in this area where there's not much foot traffic. You usually see it ramp up.
Yeah.
Let me think. Anything? I can't think of anything to add, really. Anything you want to throw in?
I think that was pretty good, actually.
Okay, so till next time, you kind of heard a little more of a taste of the Golden State Sports Medical Office. Apply that to 8th grade, apply that to middle school, high school, colleges.
The whole life.
The tactics were different. They were more stealth and smaller groups, but it's always been going on. Groups, how can we prove that Kevin's a stalker and set him up, or this or that? Okay, and when he finds out, he's not allowed to tell anyone worldwide, especially the police, and most important, When I'm telling you that I'm not allowed to tell the police, private investigators, lawyers, that's also coming from the police, private investigators, and lawyers. And that's the bigger questions that need to be talked about. Why the government would spend billions.
For what reason?
For what reason? And it's not that I'm the next Vegas shooter for doing nothing at all wrong but being the nicest guy known to man. And the argument of, oh well, nice people can snap, is
Anybody.
you know, I can throw in any what if about anyone and anything if that's how you want to play it.
Exactly.
It's not based on anything tangible other than fear.
Right. Of what?
Someone else's fear towards me.
Of what? That's the question.
Well, but that's the thing. Adolf Hitler was built on fear.
Didn't know about, like, didn't understand them or something.
Correct. They're different, so they're a threat.
Right.
That's how culture's been all throughout history.
Yeah.
Whatever, the Greeks and the Romans, or the Persians and the Greeks, or the Jews and the Palestinians, and
Yeah, you're right.
all throughout history it's been the same argument. It's just this argument is one person, a planet of people against one person, and nothing's directly said at all, just die.
Right.
Okay, so anyways, we'll stop it there, and until next time. Okay, so remember I've texted to Brittany last night that I want to meet her here at Old Oak Cigar here. So people in cars should already be waiting for me. And so, oops, so they've already parked on the spots nobody would normally be at. They're not even open yet. It's 9:38. They open at 10. There's people kind of sitting out front, things like that. So you get the idea. Now this lot had a red Mini Cooper in it, and they got really mad for passing out cards to the people in this lot. After that, the next day it was all forwards, and today it actually almost looks all forwards. But one person, I bet they're even waiting in the car. Let's see. Yeah, they are. They're waiting in the car over here. So they're parked backwards, waiting in the car for me. Right. Because he probably wants to see if I drive down the street or if I do this or that. So it's their "we're watching you" tactics. Right. And they had tons of Jeeps and Jeep Rangers and Cherokees parked all around here afterwards in these huge groups of Jeep Rangers and Cherokees. Okay, so there's one of them, but the rest are probably gone. So he's waiting down there for me to watch when I come down the street and all that. Okay, so we got two cars backwards here. Two cars kind of backwards together there. And you can bet there's a huge two Jeep, Escape and a Cherokee, like I said. It looks like they sort of have all these spots commandeered too, the spots that I would park in. So let's sort of document. The surroundings. Okay, there's a guy waiting in that truck over there. Usually there's cars parked on the side, on both sides of the streets here, like Cherokees and things on both sides of the streets. And as I sit and smoke a cigar, people will come out of their houses and walk down the streets. Right, so here's example, there's a black Cherokee right there, right? There's not as many now, but there's a white Cherokee and there's a gray Cherokee. But before, there were a lot more. Okay, so we're gonna loop around because it looks like there's a spot in front, right in front of his place. And at this corner there were tons of Jeep Rangers and Cherokee. Oh, no, that's not one. Okay, and this guy's waiting for me in the corner here, right? So he's waiting, sitting in his car backwards, waiting for me over here, right? Now, oh, I thought a spot opened up right here, but it didn't, so I'll just park over here. And then, so they took all the spot, like for example, that spot over there, nobody ever parked there, and then I parked there because they wanted people to see the signs on my car. And so now people are parking there, but more importantly, he's probably parking there this morning because I don't want him to have a spot where the signs of his car are. Either way, it doesn't really matter, but it's just nice to get as much exposure to the worldwide Kill Kevin groups for no reason as possible. Okay, Brittany has arrived, or is getting off the exit. So I'm just gonna sort of document my surroundings, what I can. There's not much to document right here. We're gonna, hopefully the cigar place is open. They open at 10, it's 9:50. And I get a breakfast, some breakfast cigars. But they're probably not open yet. Good morning, Vietnam. Not open yet. For the breakfast cigars. Okay, 2 gray Ultimas at the same exact time over here, pulled up. Okay, notice the 2 identical gray Ultimates. Okay, so now a lot of the clothing colors were toned down. One of the things I did notice is almost every car that showed up and parked for someone to go into the cigar shop after Brittany's interview were almost all black. Especially a undercover cop, which pulled up and kind of in this gas station, probably looped around or something. All black undercover cop car, and then a few of the clothing. But as I'm leaving, I'll just get this gray Ultima right here, Nissan Altima, and the gray Ultima that pulled up at the same exact time to the cigar shop. And also it seems like they didn't like me sitting Indian style. I mean, who would care, right? Trying to find anything to use against me. Kevin sit Indian style on a bench or something like that, right? Okay, so once again, there's the second one. I think a couple of black and blues. We have a car backwards over here. It's a Honda. There's the reds together there. Okay, so what time is it? It's like 3 o'clock or something. Oh, notice this Jeep. Before there were two other Jeeps parked with this Jeep. This is a Jeep Ranger. There were two like Cherokee, maybe one Escape together, one in front of the other. Now there's a gold Jeep. You get the idea, right? So this is the parking lot where the guy was waiting for me to arrive with the car backwards. Okay, I think I have that black Cherokee from earlier on video. So let's leave Thousand Oaks. I'm tired. Maybe go home, take a nap because I didn't get much sleep. Oh, other things, there were groupings of these white Mercedes like this all at the same time. Driving down the street in groups. May or may not be, but seemed kind of out there. And I think they were doing it with Jeeps too. A lot of white Mercedes at the same time.